Hello everyone and welcome to episode 9 of the ECW 2014 Revival Series here on the channel using TEW 2020 as we have another Cyber Slam. Here we have 2 more to go before we have the ECW Hardcore Evolution show. Well, I guess 3 if you count this one, but by the time this one's over then we'll have 2. As, sure we lost money last month, which is tough, but we're very, very close to being medium. I figured usually it takes, from what I've seen from simming the mod and just testing it out and making sure everything's okay and whatnot, looks like it usually takes around 2 to 3 months before ECW just on the sim makes it to medium. So I'm sure we're gonna be close to that come the end of Hardcore Evolution. I think by the time we get to Hardcore Evolution, I think we'll be up by medium. If not, after the show, we'll be up to medium. But it'll be pretty close, though. If we do, that's fine. If we don't, that's fine. I'm really not in a big hurry to reach to medium size, because a lot of our roster's still growing, and it needs to be a little bit more on the pop side, need to be a little bit more over. So that's what we're trying to do. We're still trying to get people over and trying to get guys' pop higher and higher. And so, yeah, without further ado, because there's no backstage incidents or anything like that, let's run this show. As the first 2 pre-show matches, as Billy Kay were getting the win over Christina Vinery with the boyfriend stealer. It's an interesting finish. They might keep that, as Billy Kay and Christina Vinery didn't click. Still got a 21, 22 for Billy Kay, 16 for Christina Vinery. That women's division, a lot of young girls out there. We gotta get them. We gotta get them over. We gotta get their their performances up. It's gonna be a struggle for the first probably couple of 6 months. I'd say it's gonna be a struggle in this women's division, but that's okay. That's what we signed up for. And the next pre-show matchup, it's Pentagon Jr. versus Tony Nese, and Pentagon Jr. getting the win with a top rope Styles Clash. Jesus Christ, way to bust that out in the pre-show. As Pentagon Jr. and Tony Nese outperforms him. But I just felt like Pentagon Jr. needed the win. He needed his pot to be higher. So it's not like a match, it's a pre-show matchup. But still, pretty good match. This might make it onto the main show one day. Who knows? Tony Nese was getting booked on a lot on Evolve shows. So at least we're happy to get him for one of these shows here on this night. Hopefully everything goes well. And everything is in tip-top shape. And we got the Cyber Slam intro. Gets a 64. Usually it's a little bit higher, but that's okay. It's still 64, not bad at all. And for the intro, so the kind of like a follow-up from the last episode, the first segment with in-ring interview with Joey Styles. Instead of Brock Lesnar, it's going to be Rob Van Dam about Brock Lesnar, as Joey Styles brings out Rob Van Dam, as just saying, Rob, last week, Brock Lesnar out here being the new champion seemed a little bit arrogant, seemed a little bit confident going into your match against, at Hardcore Evolution. Sure, you've lost to him a couple times already, but, what are you trying to learn as far as going into this next match to see if you can be the one to beat Brock Lesnar in ECW? And Rob just goes, listen, we don't have to worry about that big lug meathead Brock Lesnar. I'm going to smoke his ass at Hardcore Evolution. But I've asked Paul Heyman tonight. I know last week I faced Tommy Dreamer and I got the win there. God bless Tommy. He's a hell of a friend of mine. He's a hell of a competitor. But I've already, it's why conquer new lands. Why conquer lands that you've already conquered, rather. Jesus, where's my dyslexia popping up? But why conquer lands you've already conquered? I want new lands. I want new opportunities. So I've asked Paul to bring me a new opportunity tonight. I don't know who it is. When I walked into that locker room tonight to get ready for my match, I have no idea what I'm facing. But I'm ready. I don't know who it is, Paul. I don't know what you've got lined up for me, but I hope it's a hell of a challenge. And out comes the King of Swing, Cesaro. Cesaro's here at ECW. What the hell is going on? Big pop, for the ECW crowd. Cesaro, WWE signed talent. The guy who just won the fucking Andre the Giant Battle Royal 2 months ago. Hopefully, WWE's booked him well. I think from what I just kind of saw, just kind of looking at his match history, it looks like he's just been in tag matches with fucking Swagger. But, what a huge get. Just as far as a talent, what we did was just a talent trade. I think the Dudleys for Cesaro for like 4 days. So we got Cesaro for at least 4 more dates, so that's pretty fun. as Cesaro is going to be the one to take on Rob Van Dam. As Cesaro, Rob Van Dam, what a fun matchup that would be, I think, as far as, especially in this time frame in 2014, because Rob could still go, but obviously Cesaro, he could probably work with anybody, especially at this point. I think just kind of physically, peak-wise, he's probably at his peak here. This should be quite the fun matchup in the main event, as they have a bit of a stare down. Cesaro says a couple of things, just saying, the king of swing in ECW, who would have thought it. I got the call from Paul Heyman. He asked me to come here. He wants the best of the best. Think I'm at the top of the list. I'm going to prove it when I beat you, Rob Van Dam, when I pull off the upset in beating you. And maybe I'll be the one who takes on Brock Lesnar, Hardcore Evolution. So, and then we'll, teasing that, maybe we'll have Brock Lesnar and Cesaro, if Cesaro does, in fact, beat Rob Van Dam in the main event. As the opener of the CyberSlam show, Homicide and Caval teaming up, taking on Rich Swann and Ricochet. Instead of Homicide and Eddie Kingston, I felt like this teaming would have worked well against this team. And yeah, it doesn't really go well. It's, Ricochet with a 22, Rich Swann with a 16. But Homicide and Caval, they did their parts, as Homicide just tapping out Ricochet in 9:57. As I will have to give Homicide and Caval the finish, their tag finish, where fucking, what was that fucking called? Why am I blanking on that? Well, basically, Homicide would do the cop killer, but then Caval would do the double foot stomp. Well, low-key would double foot stomp the guy down into the mat while Homicide's doing the cop killer. What the fuck was that? I don't, off the top of my head now, I don't know why. I'm blanking on it, but yeah, that finish. We'll have that be their tag finish, because, well, first of all, it's probably one of the greatest tag finishers ever, but also, I think it'd be really well against guys like Rich Swann and Ricochet, a team that can probably take that move and it'd be okay. As so we have a backstage promo with Paige, as Rob Van Dam is the only one who's requested a challenge from Paul Heyman, as Paige saying in the backstage area that she's wanting to defend her ECW Women's Championship. She's the head of the division. She runs the division. She feels like there's no threat to anybody in this women's division. She is so confident in the fact that she's going to put her women's championship on the line tonight against the challenger of Paul Heyman's choosing, to see who is our biggest threat in the women's division. So that's going to be a Paul Heyman choosing as well. As nice little promo, though. Paige actually killed that. I was a little nervous going into this, but 63, and she's got a lot of green there, benefiting from being the flavor of the month, having a hot catchphrase, and also super working without the script too. So that's awesome. Good stuff there. To continue on the basically the tournament of the Network Championship, Prince Devitt defeating CJ Parker in 10:24. Devitt with a 48 and CJ Parker with a 30. He's got a simple fibula fracture. That does not sound good at all. Boy, oh boy, CJ Parker taking a terrible entry there. That is tough. God's fucking speed to CJ Parker. That is not good at all. Bubba's the road agent for that one. And the mystery opponent is Karma. So Paige versus Karma in the co-main event for the Women's Championship. And Paige does get the win. Somehow picks up Karma in a rampage. Jesus Christ. I was hoping that was not going to be the finish. I was hoping it was going to be the little scorpion lock, if you even get that. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind this, was to see what Paige can do. Obviously her finish, she couldn't get someone like Karma for it. And to have that idea to seeing what can the champion do against somebody that big. And just kind of playing off of what Karma and like Gail Kim did, and kind of that smaller girl, and just having Karma being the big monster. It just makes so much sense. As far as like psychology-wise, to have this match, I just felt like that'd be a really fun match to see. Especially kind of out of nowhere on a CyberSlam too. This could be definitely a pay-per-view, women's title match for sure in the future. But to have this idea, having Paige get the win with a rampage, I think if I had to really think of an actual better finish, probably like Karma trying to do something in the corner, kind of like a running, just kind of like steamrolling her in the corner. Paige gets out of the way, maybe a springboard kick, kind of knocks Karma loopy, then just a little roll up and just kind of surprise, like 1, 2, 3 finish, instead of actually hitting her finish, because there's just no way. Like, there's just no way in hell she could get her up for the rampage. I just don't see it happening. But they have good chemistry, though, so that's also good, too. Just two crazy matches in quick succession really didn't help that match at all. As the Premier brand, afterwards, post-match, attack Paige. Really, it's just Melissa Anderson putting the boots to Paige. Tony Nese has got a microphone in hand and he's cutting a promo as Melissa Anderson's stomping her out. And Brian Cage is kind of like holding Paige, kind of like a full Nelson, while Melissa Anderson's just putting the boots to her and laying some shots in. As Tony Nese just saying the Premier brand is the premier brand in wrestling. We have the top athletes in the world. Melissa Anderson will be the women's champion. Paige, you got lucky last time they faced. They had to do a tournament to get you. Melissa Anderson had to go through a tournament to get to you. You got lucky beating, Karma, whereas Melissa Anderson actually, was the decided winner, even though, obviously, Brian Cage interfered and helped Melissa Anderson, just heels being heels in the promo. Really just kind of trying to build up Melissa Anderson, which is crazy, also with Melissa Anderson, regarding her. TNA tried to sign her. We're having a bit of a bidding war right now with TNA over Melissa Anderson, because I had her on a handshake deal. But, I still want to keep her. I think she's, definitely probably the second or third best talent we have in the women's division. Maybe even fourth, because, Mickie James, I think, is in there for sure. And we just really need to make sure we don't have any of our top women leave just yet. We still need the girls we have, because the division's a little skim. As 31, I figured it wasn't going to go too high, but even though it's the next segment before the main event, it's probably going to hurt the show in the grand scheme of things, but I think this was the best way of going about it. So the main event's a 65. Rob Van Dam getting the win. He was off his game, but it's still a really good match with Cesaro, as he gets the win in 14 minutes of 5-star frog splash. Yeah, I just feel like you couldn't have a bad match with Claudio, and feel like that'd be a fun match too, a bit of the new age versus the old age, and having Rob get the win still, because I just felt like he was going to outperform him, and he did, so that was the right decision, even though I think Cesaro, losing in his ECW debut, quote-unquote, even though he's just on loan, sucks, but, we still have him to do a lot of other stuff, like, maybe have him team with Hero. Seems like that'd be a fun idea, and, yeah, and also, he can just kind of go on his singles route and maybe even have a network championship run in the future. The sky's the limit, really, with Claudio. So that will do it for the show. Yeah, another 61. All right, some more, increasing our pop. That's what we got to do. We just got to hit that 60 mark. Really, the angles really did really well besides the Premier Brand one. Other than that, the angles went well. Matches went pretty well. Besides the Devitt CJ Parker match. Which, surprisingly, that was going to be the worst match. I figured it'd be okay, but with the CJ Parker injury, I think that hurt a little bit. But Devitt tried. He tried to carry it, but just was not enough. As, yeah, that will do it for this show. Thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time for more ECW 2014 action. Take care, everyone.